So last night we had a primary in several states, including Vermont, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. Now in Vermont, there's actually some pretty good results. You had one, who was a little-known senator by the name of, hold on here, let me check my notes. Bernie Sanders. I've never heard of that guy. He won with over 90% of the vote. I believe it was 94% I saw somewhere. Huh. Oh, well, no, wait a minute here. I'm reading here that he's not even a Democrat. Weird. And yet somehow he won overwhelmingly. I know, of course, it's because that state is super white and would never elect somebody who's not a white male. Oh, actually, no, turns out there's a transgender woman that just won the primary for governor. Oops. Now, not only that, you had somebody named Keith Ellison, who was a Muslim winning re-election in Minnesota. Both, of course, are apparently very strong incumbents. But the real news here is that Justice Democrats and our Revolution candidates actually had a pretty good night last night. Now, of course, Politico is right on this. They're actually writing an article right now titled, "Bernie's Revolution is Falling Apart." But seriously. So in these primaries, you had actually a really interesting one in Wisconsin. Now, Wisconsin, I'm going to focus on that because in that race, you actually not only had one, but two really strong progressives running for the chance to take Paul Ryan's seat. Now, Paul Ryan, of course, is somebody that I'm not a fan of. Now, these progressives in the race, you had Kathy Myers. Now, Kathy Myers is a school board member and a teacher, and she ran on a very strong platform that was very progressive. $15 minimum wage, Medicare for all that stuff. So, again, strong progressive platform. Wonderful. I love it. And then on the other side, you also had Randy Bryce. Now, Randy Bryce is known as Ironstache. You got to love that, right? Now, Bryce is a Justice Democrat, so that means no corporate PAC money, and of course was also endorsed by Bernie Sanders. But like I said, they were both great candidates, and they ended up slugging it out in actually a pretty heated primary. Now, according to Vox, Bryce, the populist ironworker and union organizer, did beat out Kathy Myers in the district's bitter Democratic primary battle on Tuesday. Now, the race was called with 68% of precincts reporting, and Bryce ended up leading by over 20 points. He will now face Republican Brian Steil. You've got Iron versus Steel, who was a well-known local business executive with Paul Ryan's endorsement in November. So you have somebody who's running with Bernie Sanders' endorsement and another person who's running with Paul Ryan's endorsement. That's interesting. So you've got the ideas of Paul Ryan being pit against the ideas of Bernie Sanders in November. And again, that would have happened if Kathy Myers had won too, because she also had a strong progressive populist background. So again, even though it was a bitter primary, I actually think that both candidates were actually fantastic. So I would have been happy with either result. But here we have Ironstache, who already has a national profile. Now, that could help him, but there are also some things that can hurt him, and I'll get into that. So, for one, as I said before, this race is really interesting because both are incredibly progressive. Number two, Bryce actually got a lot of money due to a brilliant ad he ran against Paul Ryan. Now, he didn't take corporate PAC money. Myers also does not take corporate PAC money. So here you have two uncorrupted candidates versus somebody who is likely going to be very corrupted in November with Republican PAC money, right? Now, the thing is, Bryce got national attention early on for an ad he ran against Paul Ryan. And, of course, that ended up netting him millions of dollars in small donations, which actually is a good thing because money actually really did help in this race. And the great thing is that the money didn't come from, corporate PACs. It actually came from both of from the people. Now, number three, Paul Ryan, rather than defending his seat, is now stepping down. Now, that actually could have taken the wind out of Bryce's campaign sails, and that's why the primary didn't get a lot of attention, but that also provides an opportunity. So Paul Ryan would have been a powerful incumbent to beat. Now you're not going to have that. So no national platform, at least not as big of a national platform as had before if you're going to go against Paul Ryan, but it opens up the opportunity because the Cook Political Report is now rating the race R+5. So it leans Republican, which means it has the potential of basically flipping. So now Hillary Clinton, for example, lost the district by 11 points back in 2016, and Obama lost it by 5 in 2012. However, Obama did win the district by 3 in 2008. So there is a possibility of a win. Now, the thing is, this primary actually got pretty messy, as they sometimes do. For one, Bryce had been delinquent on child support and had been arrested for a DUI and past marijuana use. Now, look, the pot thing, I don't really care about that. Really, I don't think a lot of people care about that, but some might. Now, the DUI and the child support, that could be a problem. Me, personally, I'm a bit more forgiving about things like that. I mean, people make mistakes. People do bad things. And really, that kind of shows you that Bryce, you can't argue that he's not a regular human being. And let's be honest, here we have human beings that are, of course, not perfect. Now, I don't fault Myers for being able to attack on that because, I mean, when you think about it, they both have a pretty similar platform. So how are you going to differentiate between them? So, but nonetheless, I wish they had both run a more positive race. And I am kind of concerned that because of how negative the primary was, I mean, look, people might tune out due to the negativity. Still, again, I would have loved to have seen both of them work together afterwards. And so I don't know if that's going to happen. I think the most important thing that they should work on together is policy, if that's even possible. I hope so. Because to me, wouldn't it be great to have a real, regular human being, a working class person who believes in Medicare for all, free college, and a living wage, take over the seat for Paul Ryan? Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.